Good evening. Welcome to the August 20th, 2018 meeting of the Stillwater City Council. I will call the meeting to order, and I'll ask you to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Before we get started, just a reminder that if you'd like to speak at tonight's meeting, either in item 4, agenda items not scheduled for public hearing, or item 6, the public hearings, you do need to sign up. There's a form out in the lobby. Make sure you get that turned in before we get to those sections. All right. Item 3, consent docket. Councilors, questions, comments, or motions regarding the consent docket?
Motion to accept the consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the consent docket. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the consent docket's approved. All right, that takes us, I don't have any public comment forms, so that takes us down to item 6, public hearings on item A. Receive public comment regarding a request for a text amendment establishing regulations for medical marijuana facilities to Chapter 23, Land Development Code, Article 5, Use Categories and Limitations, Division 1, Section 23-96, Definitions, to Article 5, Use Categories and Limitations, Division 3, Section 23-115, Medical Marijuana, to Article 6, Land Use Classifications, Division 4, Sections 23-151, CS Commercial Shopping District, Section 23-152, CB Commercial Business District, Section 23-153, CG Commercial General District, to Article 6, Land Use Classifications, Division 5, Sections 23-160, IL Light Industrial District, Sections 23-161, IG General Industrial District, to Article 6, Land Use Classifications, Division 6, Section 23-170, A, Agricultural District, to Appendix 1, Form-Based Codes, Article 4, Section 4.10, Architectural Provisions, Table 17, Specific Function and Use. This is CC-18-96. Mr. McNichol.
Thank you, Mayor. Paula Dennison, our Director of Development Services, will present that information.
Good evening, Paula Dennison, Development Services. In 2018, the last election, y'all know that State Question 788, allowing medical marijuana in the state of Oklahoma, was approved. With that, municipalities were specifically called out how to regulate medical marijuana. So I'll just briefly go through this regulation that we have proposed. We have identified in the use categories 3 categories that were identified in the regulations. They are first, commercial grower, second, dispensary, and third, processing. Our proposal is that any of these uses be allowed only with a specific use permit, and there are limitations identified in the draft ordinance that you have later on the agenda this evening. And the commercial grower, we're proposing it to be in agriculture zoning district only. The dispensary in the commercial shopping, commercial business, commercial general, and then in the form-based codes area, the T5 and the T6, which encourages that multi-use. And then the processing or the manufacturing would be in the light industrial and the general industrial. So our proposal this evening, coming up in Ordinance 3416 on the agenda tonight, has been reviewed by the Planning Commission, and they had just some discussion points, as you saw in the minutes. But for clarification purposes, and we will be in compliance with what the voters approved under Question 788. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Councilors, questions?
I think this was really nicely covered in the Planning Commission, but just to make a point that what we're talking about is not what we're seeing cropping up, the CBD stores. This has nothing to do with that.
That is correct. They are not regulated under the State Question 788, nor what we're proposing here this evening.
We do, however, believe that we have information that leads us to believe that a lot of those CBD stores are going to try to convert to dispensaries once the rules become apparent and they can apply.
So if they're not in the appropriate zoned area, will they be grandfathered in, or?
They would not be able to convert. They would have to find the properly zoned property under whatever type of facility that they are proposing to have, or they could stay the CBD.
Well, in addition to that, they would need a specific use permit on top of the
Correct.
and zoning, right?
Yes, they would. And I will let you know, we have been contacted by a number of folks interested in establishing retail or the dispensary. And also, we have been contacted by one person within the city who is looking at commercial grower facility.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, I will open public hearing. I don't have any forms for people to speak at the public hearing, so I'll close the public hearing. And we'll ask Paula back up for staff recommendations.
Yes, the Planning Commission, as I said, took it up at their last meeting, and they are sending a recommendation of the ordinance 3416 later on the agenda from a unanimous 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we don't need a vote or more discussion at this point? We can just go to the ordinance when we get there?
You can go to the ordinance if you'd like, because that's really the only thing that will bring this into effect at this point.
Do we need to jump right to it, or can we just take it in order?
It's up to you.
Let's jump to it. Why not? Let's go straight there.
Might make it easier given these things before it.
That takes us to item 8C, correct? Ordinance 3416?
Yes, sir.
All right. On first reading, ordinance 3416. An ordinance amending the city code of the city of Stillwater, Oklahoma, chapter 23, titled Land Development Code, by amending Article 5, Use Categories and Limitations, Division 1, generally, section 23-96, definitions, by adding the terms medical marijuana, commercial grower, medical marijuana dispensary, and medical marijuana processing, amending Division 3, Use Limitations, by adding new section 23.115, medical marijuana, amending Article 6, land use classifications, Division 4, commercial districts, section 23-151, CS commercial shopping district, section 23-152, CB commercial business district, and section 23-153, CG commercial general district by providing for specific use, amending Article 6, land use classifications, Division 5, industrial districts, section 23-160, IL Light Industrial District, and 23-161 IG General Industrial District by providing for specific use, amending Article 6, Land Use Classifications, Division 6, Agricultural District, Public District, and University District, Section 23-170 A Agriculture District by providing for specific use, amending Appendix 1 Form-Based Codes, Article 4, General Provisions, Section 4.10, Architectural Provisions, Table 17, Specific Function and Use, and providing for severability. Councilors, comments, questions, or motions?
A motion to advance to second reading?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advance ordinance number 3416 to second reading. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the ordinance is advanced to second reading.
Mayor, I would like to bring this back on the 27th for second reading. That way, we would not need an emergency clause, and it would go into effect by the end of September, which should be consistent with the Health Department's enactment of regulations.
Okay, we'll see it on the 27th.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that takes us to item 7, general orders. Item A, adoption of the 2014 National Electric Code, NEC, and the 2015 I codes. This is CC-18-95. Mr. McNichol.
Once again, Paula Dennison will provide that information.
Good evening again. Currently, the City of Stillwater operates under the 2011 edition of the National Electric Code and the 2009 edition of the International Codes, which is the Building Code, Residential Code, Existing Building Code, Fuel, Gas, Plumbing Code, Fire Code, Mechanical Code, and Property Maintenance Code. I think I got them all. We are proposing, have run it through the Buildings Trades Board. As you will see in Ordinance 3414, that is the recommended ordinance for all of the codes, the international codes and the National Electric Code, with the exception of the Fire Code. It is in a different location, a city code, so it's under a different ordinance, and that is 3415. The adoption of 3414 and 3415 will bring us in line with what the state has adopted as the building codes for the state of Oklahoma. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. There are some local amendments that came out of the state. Those are included in what the Building Trades Board is recommending for adoption. There's also a couple of things that we have found after the Building Trades Board's recommendation, so we'll be taking those items back to them next Tuesday. So Mr. Dorman and I have discussed the second reading of the ordinance will include those additional, but they are highlighted in the ordinances that you have this evening. So if you've had a chance to look at those. Happy to answer any questions.
Counselors? I just would ask, you mentioned that there are some exceptions to the code that are state-based?
Yes.
So there are places where the state has adopted different standards than the international codes?
That's correct.
And then there are places where we locally have, or are locals in line with the state?
Our locals cannot be less restrictive than the state. So any of the local amendments that we have proposed already or forthcoming next week are going to be more, at least in line or more restrictive than those of the state.
Thank you. All right. Counselors, any further questions? We can jump down to the ordinances on this one as well.
You're ready to go with those, yes, sir.
You guys get ready. It's going to be a lot of reading on these.
Okay.
That takes us to item 8A, ordinances on first reading. Ordinance number 3414. An ordinance amending the city code of the City of Stillwater, Oklahoma, Chapter 10, titled Building and Building Regulations, amending Article 2, Building Trades Board, Section 10-23, titled Powers and Duties, enacting a new Article 2, Section 10-25, titled Initiation of an Appeal to the Building Trades Board, enacting international and national building and construction standards promulgated by the International Code Council, ICC, and the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, as amended and revised by the Oklahoma Uniform Building Code Commission, OUBCC, repealing Article 3, titled Basic Building Code, adopting a new Article 3, titled Adoption of the ICC International Building Code, 2015 edition, which includes new sections 10-52, Adoption of the ICC International Building Code, 2015 edition, 10-53, Amendments to the ICC International Building Code, 2015 edition, 10-54, Industrial Construction, Building Permit, Expedited Process, and 10-55, Industrial Construction, Certificate of Occupancy, Expedited Procedure, repealing Article 4, titled 1 and 2 Dwelling Code, adopting a new Article 4 titled Adoption of the International Residential Code for 1 and 2 Family Dwellings, 2015 edition, which includes new sections 10-88, Adoption of the ICC International Residential Code for 1 and 2 Family Dwellings, 2015 edition, and 10-89, Amendments to the ICC International Residential Code for 1 and 2 Family Dwellings, 2015 edition. Repealing Article 5, titled Property Maintenance Code, adopting a new Article 5, titled Adoption of the International Property Maintenance Code, 2015 edition, which includes sections 10-111, Adoption of the ICC International Property Maintenance Code, 2015 edition, and 10-112, Amendments to the ICC International Property Maintenance Code, 2015 edition. Repealing Article 7, titled Existing Buildings, adopting a new Article 7, titled Adoption of the International Existing Building Code, 2015 edition, which includes new sections 10-234, adoption of the ICC International Existing Building Code 2015 edition, and 10-235, amendments to the ICC International Existing Building Code 2015 edition, repealing Article 8, titled Plumbing Standards, Division 2, titled Plumbing Standards, adopting a new Article 8, Division 2, titled Adoption of the International Plumbing Code 2015 edition, which includes new sections 10-289, adoption of the ICC International Plumbing Code 2015 edition, and 10-290, amendments to the ICC International Plumbing Code 2015 edition, repealing Article 9, titled Gas Standards, adopting a new Article 9, titled Adoption of the International Fuel Gas Code 2015 edition, which includes sections 10-374, adoption of the ICC International Fuel Gas Code 2015 edition, and 10-375, amendments to the ICC International Fuel Gas Code 2015 edition. Repealing Article 10, titled Mechanical Standards, Division 1, titled Generally, adopting a new Article 10, Division 1, titled Adoption of the International Mechanical Code 2015 edition, which includes new sections 10-396, adoption of the ICC International Mechanical Code 2015 edition, and 10-397, amendments to the ICC International Mechanical Code 2015 edition. Repealing Article 11, titled Electricity, Division 2, titled Technical Standards, adopting a new Article 11, Division 2, titled Adoption of National Electrical Code 2014 edition, which includes new sections 10-485, adoption of the National Electrical Code 2014 edition, NFPA 70-2014, and 10-486, amendments to the National Electrical Code 2014 edition, NFPA 70-2014. And 10-487, other electric utilities, providing for the protection of existing rights and remedies and providing for severability. Councilors, questions, comments on Ordinance 3414? A little
Can we go over that
lightheaded.
one more time? Got the NFPA part.
Let's see, motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
So I want to hear you read it again.
Motion and a second to advance 3414 to second reading. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the ordinance is advanced to second reading. Takes us to item B, ordinance number 3415, which is much shorter. An ordinance amending the city code of the city of Stillwater, Oklahoma, titled Chapter 20, titled Fire Prevention and Protection, repealing Article 3, titled Fire Prevention Code, adopting a new Article 3, titled Adoption of the ICC International Fire Code 2015 edition, which includes new sections 20-49, adoption of the ICC International Building Code 2015 edition, and 20-50, amendments to the ICC International Fire Code 2015 edition. I'm going to pause right there. That says International Building Code, and I assume it's supposed to say International Fire Code. Or am I wrong?
I'll check that.
Does it matter?
Go ahead and read it tonight,
Okay.
and we need to change it, we'll change it.
All right. Adoption of the ICC International Building Code 2015 edition and 20-50, amendments to the ICC International Fire Code 2015 edition, amending City Code Chapter 23, titled Land Development Code, Article 17, titled Required Improvements, Section 23-357, titled Water Distribution System, regarding fire hydrants in rural water districts, providing for the protection of existing rights and remedies, and providing for severability. Councilors, comments, questions, or motions?
Motion to advance ordinance number 3415 to second reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advance ordinance 3415 to second reading. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the ordinance is advanced to second reading. All right, that takes us to ordinances on second reading. Ordinance number 3410, an ordinance rezoning attractive land at or near 1306 West University Avenue, as more particularly described in this ordinance, from a residential two-family and multifamily, RTM, district classification to a residential multifamily intermediate, RMI, district classification.
Motion to adopt ordinance number 3410.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 3410. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the ordinance is adopted. Item B, ordinance number 3411, an ordinance rezoning attractive land at or near 310 and 324 South Monroe Street, as more particularly described in this ordinance, from a residential multifamily intermediate, RMI district classification to a residential multifamily urban, RMU district classification.
Motion to adopt ordinance number 3411.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, ordinance number 3411 is adopted. Item C, ordinance number 3413, an ordinance amending and repealing portions of Chapter 3 Stillwater City Code titled Alcoholic Beverages by amending Article 1 in general, Section 3-1 definitions, Section 3-2 unlawful manufacture, sale, possession, etc., generally, Section 3-3 maintaining a place where sold contrary to law, Section 3-4 location of package stores, wholesalers, and mixed beverage establishment, Section 3-5 hours of operation, Section 3-6 underage persons not permitted in package stores or licensed premises, Section 3-7 minors not to be employed in selling or handling, exceptions, Section 3-8 possession by underage persons, Section 3-9 underage persons not to misrepresent age in order to buy alcohol or gain entry into licensed establishments, Section 3-12 containers not to be opened or beverages consumed in package store, Section 3-13 loitering where alcoholic beverages are sold, etc. Section 3-14, public intoxication. Section 3-15, drinking alcoholic beverages in public. Section 3-16, transportation. Adding new Section 3-17, permitting or allowing gatherings where minors are consuming alcoholic beverages and any controlled substances. Amending Section 3-17, violations, and renumbering it Section 3-18. Amending Article 2, occupation tax on retailers and wholesalers, Section 3-26, levied amount, Section 3-27, payment required, Section 3-28, payment generally, Section 3-29, when due and payable, prorating, Section 3-30, use of funds, Section 3-31, occupation tax non-transferable or non-refundable, and Section 3-32, function of city clerk. Repealing Article 3, state licensees, Section 3-75, underage persons on premises, Sections 3-76, hours of operation, and Section 3-77, violation of laws. Amending Article 3, state licenses, Section 3-78, application for a certificate of zoning compliance and certificate of compliance with fire, safety, and health codes, and renumbering it as Section 3-33. Amending Section 3-79, investigation of applicant, and renumbering it as Section 3-34. Amending Section 3-81, issuance of certificates, temporary certificates, and renumbering it as Section 3-35. Repealing Article 4, Low Point Beer, Division 1 generally, Sections 3-86 through 3-98. Repealing Article 4, Low Point Beer, Division 2, Retailer's License, Section 3-106 through 3-115, providing for severability and establishing an effective date. That's it. Counselors?
Motion to adopt ordinance number 3413.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 3413. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the ordinance is adopted. All right. That's the heavy reading portion of the meeting. Takes us to Section 9, reports from officers and boards. Mr. Dorman.
Request an executive session pursuant to 25 OS subsection 307C10 for the purpose of conferring on matters pertaining to economic development, including the transfer of property financing or the creation of a proposal to entice a business to locate within the city of Stillwater, because public disclosure of the matter to be discussed would interfere with the development of products and services and would violate the confidentiality of the business.
Thank you, Mr. Dorman. Mr. McNichol.
Yes, sir, Mayor, I have two items. First, power line improvement project is near completion. Power lines were energized on August 2nd and are performing as designed. Contract crews will work to remove debris created during construction and repair the walking path at Boomer Lake on North Husband Street. And once restoration is complete, Stillwater electric utility crews will transfer the distribution lines on North Husband over to the new poles. We're hoping that will help with reliability.
Excellent.
And the other item, And we have 2 representatives in the office of the people I'm about to talk with. And if anybody has any questions when I'm finished with this announcement, feel free to ask them. But Up With People is a global education organization with the mission to empower youth to be positive agents of change through music and action. Their international cast, representing 20 different countries, will make a stop in Stillwater, Oklahoma from September 24th to October 1 on their 2018 World Tour. The group of 100 international young adults will travel to different communities in the USA, Mexico, Europe, and in every city they will be staying with local host families, participating in service projects in the community, and performing a professionally produced high-energy show with music and dance. We are looking forward, we're currently looking for local families that would be interested to host an international participant for 1 week from September 24th until October 1. The only things a host family needs to provide is a place to sleep, breakfast and dinner, and local transportation at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. In return, you'll get a fun cultural exchange and up to 2 free tickets to the show, Up With People, live on tour on September 29th. And I believe those performances are at the High School Performing Arts Center, September 29th, 2 p.m. and 7. And I will tell you, because they won't, the 2 young people in our audience are kind of the advanced team for Up With People. And have you found lodging? Both of you have? Oh, good. Okay, well, they're here for about 6 weeks, and they were having a little trouble finding some place to host them, so.
Well, we're excited to have you. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might say that they're sponsored by University Diversity Office, and they wanted the community to be involved as well.
Are we the only city in Oklahoma that you guys are? Okay.
Well, is there contact info for folks that would like to host? Is there an email or a website or something? Come on up. Sure.
Yeah.
And just speak into that microphone, if you would, Jim.
People that are interested in hosting can contact my colleague Hida Moose, and his phone number is 720-487-7867, and his email address is hmeurs@upwithpeople.org.
Great. Thank you.
And I hope I get this right. Jelna is from Belgium and has great English. I mean, his English skills are wonderful.
All right. Thank you. Counselor Zanotti.
Yes, we'd like to remind everyone about the new exclusive pedestrian phase at the University and Monroe intersection near the OSU campus. The traffic signals prompt vehicles stop at all approaches to allow pedestrians to cross any leg of the intersection at the same time, even diagonally. Right turn on red are also prohibited. The goal is to make the intersection a more desirable place for students and pedestrians to cross. And for any of you who have actually seen the video, it actually helps you visualize what this means. It's not chaos, but I am really excited about a new way for traffic and pedestrians to be able to interact and do it in a safe manner. So check it out.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
On this Friday, we are celebrating 2 years of successful partnerships and milestones for Stillwater Regional Airport. And of course, we're going to have a little celebration at the airport main terminal, 10:30 Friday, light refreshments and special remarks from some of our key partners in the airport endeavor. More information about the event is on both the city and airport's websites. If you haven't flown out of the airport, at least come to party.
Thank you. Counselor Wedlake?
All right, so we're offering a special curbside yard debris cleanup for residential customers inside city limits from Monday, August 27th through Friday, September 14th. We will collect your storm debris on your regular collection days in that time frame, except for Labor Day Monday. Glass recycled totes will not be collected in September, and if you'd like more details on this, you can find them at the city's website, stillwater.org. I will say, while I have this podium for a moment, there has been some concern about some of the flooding that occurred last Thursday. The numbers that I've gotten, the official numbers, I think, were 9.44 inches per hour in between the times of 1500 and 1550 on Thursday. I will say that would probably overwhelm any city in the country in terms of stormwater drainage. And the fact that we had all the streets open the next day, I think, is actually a testament to our stormwater drainage. So just wanted to add that in there for those that were concerned.
Thank you. We certainly appreciate all the hard work that the folks at Utilities and Streets, that was a freak storm, to say the least.
Nuts.
And a lot of work went into cleaning up there, so, yeah, thank you. Councilor Jaloski.
We'd like to encourage our new residents and OSU students to sign up for emergency alerts from the city through the Be Informed Stillwater system. To sign up, you'll go to the city's website and click the Emergency Alerts tab under the Online Services icon at the top of the page. So that must be in addition to like the social media. I know like you can get on social media for alerts as well. So does that sign you up for that?
Excellent. And welcome today to the new students in town.
Yes.
First day at OSU. All right, that takes us down to item 11, appointments. We have one appointment tonight for the Board of Drainage Appeals. Dr. Edwin Miller, his term expired this summer, but he is asked to be reappointed for a second 3-year term. So I will nominate Dr. Miller for a new term on the Board of Drainage Appeals.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, Dr. Edwin Miller is reappointed to the Board of Drainage Appeals. Thank you, sir, for your service. All right, at this point, I will recess the Stillwater City Council meeting and move us over to the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting. And I'll call the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting for August 20, 2018 to order. Trustees, motions, questions, comments on the consent docket?
Motion to accept the consent docket?
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent docket. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the consent docket is approved. All right, that takes us down to item 5, general orders. Authorize staff to advertise requests for quotes for professional consulting services for solid waste assessment and management study. This is SUA-18-32. Mr. McNichol.
And our Waste Management Director, Chris Knight, will have that report.
Chris Knight, Waste Management Director. Staff is requesting to have to advertise an RFQ for a waste management study from a consulting firm. The reason is that our department has never had a study of our department ever, and we find it at this point that we need to look at it and seeing if we're being as efficient as we intending to be. Also do a cost analysis to make sure that our rates and everything are where they should be. And but the main reason is for the recycling program. It's a real concern at this time that we got a little over 3 years before our initial contract's up with Cedar Creek Farms. They do have an option to sign on for another 5 years, but at this point, I don't feel real comfortable that that's going to happen. Or the other possibility would be if they are willing to consider that, we'd need to redo our current agreement we have with them, which we've already redid it once. And I just see it just keep going up in cost. So we would really like to explore, have someone help us explore some options for that recycling program. And I think we're a little over 3 years out. That gives us a lot of time to look and see what there is out there for us, because I'm just afraid if we continue to wait, we're not going to have anywhere to go with our recyclable material once that contract's up. Any questions?
All right, questions, trustees?
Thanks for looking ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if I may also point out that we also make our landfill contract, I'll get it spit out here in a minute, expires in, I think, what, 20?
Yeah, the same year, 2022, they both expired the same,
And
they have the same option for it's on for another 5 years. I'm not as concerned about that one, but it would be also nice to look at if there is any other potential options there too, Because right now, we're signing on with the same landfill we have for many years, and the price just keeps going up. There may be another option out there for that, and there may not be.
And I think people need if you'll just Google this subject, recycling in the last few months has really popped to the fore in terms of its future, and it is in jeopardy partially because of China trying to clean up its act in terms of its environment, partially because of trade war that's currently exists, and we may have a very, very hard, if not impossible time getting rid of recyclable materials.
Yeah, and just to clarify on that point, I mean, most of the plastic and stuff we put in our recycling bin, right? They collect and they try to sell on the open market,
Correct.
which is not a very strong market at this point, right?
Plastic is really, you can't even really give it away, to be honest with you. I mean, our processor, he's holding on to materials, so, I mean, the materials that we accept in our program, mixed paper it's $2 and something a ton this last month, so it's hard to get rid of. The only thing and it's low, is cardboard. It's 2 years ago, it was $150 a ton, and it's $80 a ton last month. So, and that's baled cardboard. It's a tough market right now, but I've spoken with a lot of people that have a lot of experience and expertise. They believe it's going to be okay, but no one really knows. It just kind of China's really, like Mr. McNichol said, it's really putting a damper on things.
And that's a big goal of this study, will be to help us figure out what we need to plan for in the future.
I've spoken with some other MRFs, one in Tulsa and another one in Oklahoma City, and actually the one in Tulsa where we take our material every 6 months to do the recycling audit, our material is getting really clean, and he said, as of right now, he could take our material. So if that was an option, when this contract's up, however, we got to figure out how to get it there. Yeah, they'll come get it, but it'll probably end up costing us money for them to come get it. And then the other problem is we don't have anywhere to put it temporarily, even for them to come get it or for us to transport it. That's another issue we have. We have nowhere to take it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need a motion and trustees, further comments or motions on this item?
Motion to adopt the staff recommendation for sending out an RFQ for a study on this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to authorize staff to advertise the RFQ. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, that item's approved. It takes us to item 6, reports from officers and boards. Mr. Dorman.
Nothing to report, sir.
Mr. McNichol.
No item, sir.
Trustees,
No, thank you.
is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
We have a motion to adjourn. Please vote. A motion and a second. With a vote of 5-0, the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting is adjourned. All right, we will now reconvene the Stillwater City Council meeting at section 12. Is there a motion to enter executive session?
So moved?
Second?
We have a motion and a second to enter executive session. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, we'll now enter executive session.